a video on, I don't know how to describe this. So I've cooked gammon. I needed it cold, so I've let it go cold, and then I've cut the skin off and the excess fat. And I always render the skin and fat down. I get the fat comes out of the skin. You boil it in some water, and then slowly simmer it for a couple of hours. The fat separates out into like a pure fat, and then because you put some water in it, the water absorbs some of the gelatin from the skin, takes on a bit of flavour, so you get a nice bit of stock. You get some nice fat which you can use to make pastry and things, and then you're kind of left with the kind of little gristly, the minced up bits of skin that don't, like this is the skin. You get the minced up little bits, which is in there, I can't kind of quite see, but you get the minced up little bits of skin that don't render into fat and they don't turn into gelatin. You're left with those. And then sometimes what I do is I crisp them up in the oven, and then that renders even more fat out of them. And then what's left are the little gristly bits I then throw away, or I feed to the neighbour's dog. If I'm going around to see a neighbour and they've got a dog, I'm going to give the dog a treat. But I was kind of thinking, can we do something with those little crispy things once we're done? And I think I can. So it's like a zero food waste. And they're not that dissimilar from pork scratchings. So can we do something with those? Not kind of make like a pork scratching, but use them as a flavouring. Because I kind of think pork scratchings are, there's a lot of, I just need to move that underneath the mincer. The mincer's just there. So once we crisp them up, can we use them like a seasoning? And I think we can. So I'm going to add some water to that. I'm going to render it down, get the fat out of it, get the gelatin out, the stocky gelatiny water out of it, and then we'll crisp up the little nuggets of skin that are left, and then we'll do something with them. And I think I've got 3 ideas, and I think it might be kind of quite interesting. So it's rendered down, and we can now strain it. So we'll strain it into a metal container because it's still hot, and what will happen is the stock and the fat will go into the container, and the little bits of skin and a bit of connective tissue will be left in the strainer, and then we'll crisp that up in the oven. But you can see, don't need to pour it all through, you can just see, you can't see because it all gone mystified. So bang that through. We're left, actually I'll get a spoon. I've got a spoon handy now. So what we're left with is these little bits of, can you see that? Little bits of skin. That's, you know, connective tissue and a bit of skin. So I'm going to crisp those up in the oven. We'll get a bit more fat out of it, but they'll crisp up, and that's what I'm going to use to cook with. You probably think this is kind of quite gross, but it tastes alright now. But when we crisp it up, I think it'd be really nice. We'll be able to do something fun with it. But we'll see. So, strain that, crisp those up in the oven, just on a tray, just to kind of drive out the moisture, and then crisp them up with a bit of heat. So, as you can see now, all nice and crispy crunchy. And tasting delicious. So there's a little bit of fat in there, so when it's still warm, I'm just going to move it around a bit, and then on a bit of an angle, so the fat will roll down to the bottom of the paper, and that's what I'm going to use. I'm going to use some of the fat, I'm going to use some of the crispy bits, but we'll just hold it up at an angle, and then they'll remain really crispy, and then that fat will just drain away a little bit. So I need something underneath it that will do. Right, so fat has separated down to the bottom, so we don't want all of that, but we do want some of that. So let's call it a teaspoonful of that lard. I've tasted that, that's delicious. Now heat on, and then I've softened some pasta in some hot water, just so it fits in the pan. And then, completely cheaty method of cooking pasta alla Gricia. So a little bit of water in the pan. As the pasta cooks, starch is going to come out of the pasta into the water, and that's how we're going to form the sauce. So, and then we'll use the bacony bits in to finish the dish off once we've added some cheese. I think I have some tongs. I have got tongs. So the idea is that we'll keep needing to add a little bit of water. But kind of the idea is that it's going to be like a pasta alla Gricia, but made without guanciale, but still the kind of same method. So it's kind of bacony, but then also kind of like the Sicilian thing of using breadcrumbs in pasta as well. So this isn't the right way to do it. You're supposed to cook the pasta in a lot of water and then add a little bit of water to the pasta as you cook, but it's kind of quite difficult if you're doing that if the pasta water is not completely saturated with starch. So we're doing it this way, so it's going to cook more like a risotto. So I don't think I've done videos on this before, so I don't really think we need to kind of show that. It's going to take about 8 minutes to cook the pasta. So I've set the timer for about 8 minutes, and we'll be back when the pasta's cooked. We're adding cheese and we're adding the bacony bits. Well, like box fractions, isn't it? So it should be nice. Right, so pasta is cooked, and as you can see, the pasta water in the bottom has combined with the starch and create a bit of a sauce, and with the fat as well. So now's the time to add some cheese, not too much, about that much, and the cheese will combine with the pasta water and the pasta to create a sauce, which is pasta alla Gricia, but for the basis of pasta alla Gricia. There isn't any more cheese in that. Yeah, there's more cheese in that, and then we'll sprinkle in the bacony bits, and I think it'll work really well. And then I've got some more ideas for the bacony bits as well. Actually, I'll add all that cheese in there. That's that. Need any more liquid? Nope, I don't think it does. And then we need, I was tempted to use fingers, but we need like that, and that much. Stir that in, we'll get bacon flavour and a bit of crispness. So, we haven't actually had to buy any bacon. In a bowl. Kind of that. We'll do two so we can take a picture of one. As you can see, the sauce in the bottom there like that, so that's fine. Give it a taste. So think, use that for a picture. This one because it's a little bit messy. That's delicious, and it works. So, I don't know what to make of that. I don't kind of know what my... Yeah, so it's just about zero waste, isn't it? And cutting down on the amount of waste. So, ordinarily, those bits get fed to... I don't want to go now, let's take a picture of that one. They get fed to the dog, but we can actually use them in cooking, which is good from my point of view, but there we go. Could be something else we can do with those.